Hey, what's up everybody? Extramillion here once again with the 6th episode of Totally Sick, Bioshock Edition. This time we're running through Hephaestus. This level's pretty awesome. It's supposed to be set in the geothermal power plant that provides all the power to Rapture, and since it's named after Hephaestus, who is the god of blacksmithing and volcanoes, it really does look like some serious shit's about to go down here, like everything's got this evil red tint all over it. It also marks the beginning of the upgraded versions of all the splicers start appearing. Like, all the leadhead splicers will have machine guns, all the thuggish splicers, as you saw earlier, have electrified pipes, and they have all the visual cues running over them, like they have Electrobolt equipped, so they'll have, like, glowing veins. Basically, what you have to do, you wander into this room and you see that Andrew Ryan's office is closed with these magnetic locks, so you have to get the components for what it basically amounts to, like an EMP bomb, and place it on one of the geothermal cores, and then blow the power to the locks, and then you can get in. What I just picked up there was the second level of Frozen Field. It gives you a 20% chance to freeze enemies, so if you have both of them equipped, you'll have a 30% chance with every swing to freeze enemies, which is pretty nice. Basically, once you run in here, you have to search that body for this audio diary, then once it starts playing, I can skip it, and then splicers start to cut into the room. And so I'm just waiting for them to cut in so that I can beat them all down. And then the various parts of the bomb are scattered throughout the level. 2 of them you need to get from the corpses of Big Daddies, so I'll have to kill the last 2 Big Daddies that I need in this level. So after this one I won't have to kill anymore, and I can just rush straight through the rest of the game. I get the rest of my research done on Little Sisters and the Bouncer-style Big Daddies. And getting the last level of research on Bouncer Big Daddies gives me a permanent 50% increase to all of my wrench damage, which is pretty nice. I also apologize for every time that I sort of stop and look at the map or turn in a different direction, because this level is kind of confusing to me. It's like a 3-tiered tower with 2 little offshoots. Sort of like jump down on that Houdini splicer down there. So I run up here, go to this Gatherer's Garden, purchase more tonic slots and upgrades, health upgrades. Then collect some more research. And then once I'm done with these guys, I'll go and get started on collecting the components for the bomb. This area is kind of unique. Once you walk through this area where the power goes on and off and you start hearing all these splicers laughing, at various points throughout the rest of the levels in the game, splicers will play dead, so they'll pretend to be just like regular corpses that you can loot, and when you walk over to them, they'll all just get up and start attacking you. Luckily, it's the same corpses every time, so if you know ahead of time which ones will get up and attack you, you can just kind of run over to them and beat them up before they even get up. I wander in here, get some more research. Some more research on the Bouncer. And then I'll run down this hallway and beat down a splicer that's playing possum. And some more splicers that are playing dead. Then I go down those stairs behind me and grab an audio diary that describes what you have to do to actually assemble the bomb. That tonic I just picked up there was Security Expert 2, where it makes all of the security devices that you encounter take an extra 3.5 seconds to see you, which is really nice, especially in these later levels where turrets and cameras can see you in as little as 1 second, so an extra 3.5 is fairly useful. And that can be stacked with the other Security Expert, even though I don't equip both of them at the same time. So I'm almost ready to start gathering all the components for the bomb, which you'll notice because all of the components that you actually need have already appeared at various points in the level, and you just need to walk over to them and pick them up. And if you watch closely, I beat up these splicers, and I swear this spider splicer just appears out of nowhere. He just sort of jumps out of this mist. Like, where was he? He didn't look like he was even standing there. But whatever. You go down here, and then right outside the office that you need to get into for a major part, there's these 2 turrets, so I have to destroy them first. Then you head to this little back area, and this is where you actually assemble the bomb. It's also where I'll find a really useful tonic called Damage Research. It's the first level of Damage Research, and it gives you a 30% increase in all of the research damage bonuses that I've been getting. So it's 30% on top of whatever research you've accumulated to this point, and since I've maxed out all my research on basically every enemy in the game, that gives me a lot of extra damage. So now, the audio diary is telling me what components that I need to grab, and 2 of them come from the bodies of Big Daddies, like I already said, so now I have to go find Big Daddies to kill. Normally, this Big Daddy is supposed to be downstairs, but unluckily for me, he was standing up here by this turret, so I have to go coax him downstairs where I can kill him very easily. Now, if you'll notice his health, it jumps down to half because he's actually scripted to fight you with half of his health. The other Big Daddy you fight has to have full health, so no matter what you do to him, he always starts with full health. This one always starts with half health. So I'm basically just trying to lure him downstairs to an area where he can't reach me. So I go into this little watery area where he can't actually come to, and then I'll basically just dance in and out of his range while swinging the wrench at him. I also max out my research on him so that I get all the damage that I can possibly do to them. For these fights, there's actually a gene bank in the room that's just to my left, so I should have actually taken off Frozen Field because it just makes the battle take a lot longer because he just randomly gets frozen. This Big Daddy in particular did not want to cooperate, so this fight takes a little longer than I would have liked. This is also the last level where we'll see these bouncer-style Big Daddies, except for Proving Grounds, the one right before you fight the last boss. So in all the rest of the levels, the only Big Daddies that appear are the Elite Rosies. He's almost dead. Alright, there we go. He's finally dead. So I harvest this little sister, and now I can get into Keyboards' office and get another component that I need. Which is actually a really dangerous area to move through if you don't have Electroflesh equipped like I do, because there's like trap bolts all over the place. Which is why I picked up this Big Daddy's body with telekinesis. And then enter the code for the room, and then run through it with his body in front of me so that he hits all the trap bolts. As you can see, they're pretty much everywhere. And I even get hit by one. If I didn't have Electric Flesh equipped, it would have done almost my entire health bar. That's how powerful those are. And then I stupidly get hung up on a turret and almost die. So now I run in here and go to this gene bank, I take off Electric Flesh, and I equip Static Discharge 2 and Armored Shell so that I can go toe-to-toe with the other Big Daddy that I need to kill. Now my original plan for killing him was to lure him behind, or lure him near the Gatherer's Garden that I went to earlier, and then jump behind it, because you can fit behind it but he can't, so you can stay just out of his range and hit him. But as you'll see, Fortune smiles upon me once again, and he actually blows himself up. So there he is. I'm looking at my map real quick to make sure I know where the Gatherer's Garden is. So Sucker Punch him, then lure him over here, then jump over the counter so that he can't get me. He doesn't follow me down the stairs and decides to stay up there, so I decide to see if I can just get him near the railing so that he can swing at me, and he almost hits me right there. he's still being stubborn and won't follow me down the stairs. So I'm just like, well, fuck it. If he's going to stay up here, I guess I'll just keep hitting him like this if he can't reach me. And then miraculously, somehow, he manages to hit me, and static discharge goes off and hits those barrels and blows up, and as you can see, took off about 75% of his health and caught him on fire. So he's just sitting up there burning. And now he looks like a big charcoal briquette. And he's actually stunned right now, where he can't move, but I didn't want to take that chance, and I run back here, and as you can see, I sort of peek around the corner, and I'm like, oh, well, I can just go take him out. Wham! That one single wrench hit. And then harvest this little sister, take the last component I need off of his body. So now that I've done that, I have more than enough Atom to complete the game. I actually have more Atom than I need now. So I take that off, and I put Frozen Field 1 and 2 back on. So now I have the maximum possible chance of freezing enemies when I hit them. So you basically have to... I collected those 2 cans of that ionic gel stuff. I collected the nitroglycerin from Keyboards' office. And the last things that I've been collecting were all the R34 components from the Big Daddy's bodies. So now I have 3 of them, and luckily enough, right next to where you have to assemble the bomb is the last R34 component. So I just head back down there and grab it, and then assemble the bomb, and then I have to take it to the geothermal core. I stop by this vending machine once again to get more first aid kits. So you can never have too many first aid kits. Alright, so now I have everything I need to make the bomb. I go in here, and then put it all together, and then I'm ready to actually get out of the level. As you'll see, though, I said earlier that this level is, at least it's confusing for me. There are several areas that pretty much all look exactly the same, so I actually get lost for about 10 seconds and start going the wrong way. So, please bear with me as I go the completely wrong direction. As soon as I get back to the main 3-tiered area, I go all the way upstairs, almost back to Ryan's office, before I look at the quest arrow that's up there and realize that I'm going the wrong way. As you can see, it's telling me to go left, and I turn and go up the stairs for some reason. Just because you have to actually go through that little area that goes to Ryan's office twice anyway. You have to go back once to get the Big Daddy piece, and then you have to come back once you've actually planted the bomb and flip the switch that allows you to go into Ryan's office. So, it's all about doing what you need in what order, and I got my order mixed up. Alright, so finally, we're back on track after a little detour. I go in here, I take off Bloodlust and equip another medical expert tonic just so my first aid kits heal me more, just because I need that more than I need Bloodlust at this point. In this area, you're supposed to turn this wheel so that it moves a pipe and allows all the water that's below you to be melted off, or heated off, by the lava that's coming out of there. And in this room, Atlas is telling you to set up a perimeter. Basically, once you start turning the wheel, those 4 little red lights behind the wheel start to light up, and every time they start to light up, a splicer or 2 will run into the room, and the splicer types will vary. I got lucky this time, and they're all spider splicers, but the most annoying one is probably either leadheads or Houdini splicers are probably the most annoying, just because they take forever to kill. one more spider splicer, and then I turn the wheel, and all the water gets boiled off. And then for some reason, a audio diary from Arcadia, from Dr. Langford, who's dead, starts playing. I'm not really sure why, but whatever. While I'm waiting for the elevator to open, I get some money.
Are they all dead? Hope so. Best be heading on to the core.
So far away from your family, from your friends.
So then you run through here, and you take this little lift up, and then you plant the bomb on the core, and then a bunch of really cool effects go off, and then the place starts going to hell, and you basically have to hightail it back to Ryan's office so that you can confront him before the whole place sort of like explodes. Because basically now he's sort of given up trying to keep you from getting to him, and he's basically told Atlas and you that he's going to self-destruct all of Rapture. Because if he can't have it, then obviously nobody can. So you go all the way back upstairs, back through these hallways, and he sets bots on you and splicers, so you just kind of have to, like, fight your way through them. Luckily, these two bots in here are attached to this splicer, so once I kill him, they'll just drop to the ground. So you go in here, flip the switch, then just try to survive long enough so that you're not getting shot up by those security bots. Then you run in here, and you head to Rapture Control, and I will see you guys in that level. Alright, we're back. Here we are in Rapture Central Control, and honestly there's not a whole lot to say about this level. The only major thing that I do is I go over to this vending machine, and you can't actually walk up these stairs to Ryan's office because there's a timed event where he has to finish giving his long speech, so I actually jump over the invisible barrier by standing on top of the vending machine and then just jumping straight over it, which allows me to get up here while the room is still dark. Because the way it's supposed to work is his speech will end, and then the room goes and lights up, and then like it looks like the whole place is just gonna like self-destruct. So I just jumped over that little thing by pushing up against it and jumping onto the vending machine. I go in here, I skip the rest of his speech, and then play a short clip that he's already said, and once I play that, then I can play the speech from Atlas that starts up where he says, you know, Ryan's gonna self-destruct everything, you should probably just go kill him. And that's pretty much all that there is in this level. It's a very short level, so you basically just run in here, run down these hallways, and you see Ryan, and he's just casually standing in his office playing golf, because he knows he's pretty much dead already, and that he can't stand against you.
And now he's come to murder me.
As I've noted a few other times before, he's the only other character in the game who has a unique character model.
Slave. Money. Power. No. A man chooses. A slave obeys. You think you
But basically, that room that I was just in and his office, this speech that he's giving, he tells you the big twist of the game. So, spoilers for anyone who hasn't actually played this game, but Jack, the character you're playing as, is actually Ryan's son. It's his illegitimate son. He had a child with Jasmine Jolene, who was a stripper at that Eve's Garden place in Fort Frolic, and then Dr. Tenenbaum and Frank Fontaine bought they bought the fetus from Jasmine Jolene and then artificially aged it, and since it has Andrew Ryan's genetic code, that's why Jack is able to hack into machines, that's why he's able to use the Vita-Chambers, that's why he's able to do all sorts of stuff. So Andrew Ryan knows that he can't actually kill Jack. It's also why, since Frank Fontaine found Jack, he implanted him with this phrase that you may have noticed a few times through the game that they're actually showing here, where he says, "Would you kindly do this or that?" And the phrase, would you kindly, is actually supposed to be a trigger phrase. So if he says, you know, like when we first picked up the wrench, he says, "Would you kindly find a crowbar or something?" So that's supposed to be like the big twist where you finally realize all throughout the game that he's actually been leading you on by saying that "would you kindly" phrase every time he wants you to do something.
Stop! A man chooses. A slave obeys.
The big other theme of this speech is that a man chooses and a slave obeys. So Andrew Ryan calls you a slave and tells you to kill him. So he's choosing to die by on his own terms. It's all very deep and philosophical, but we're not really worrying about that right now. We're just trying to beat the game with just the wrench and no plasmids and all that other stuff. Actually, now that I think about it, Andrew Ryan kind of looks like Walt Disney.
Hurry now! Grab Ryan's genetic key! Now would you kindly put it in that goddamn machine?
So you kill him, and then you get his genetic key, which allows you to turn off his self-destruct, but unfortunately, it also turns control of Rapture over to Frank Fontaine. And this is the big reveal when Atlas, the guy who's been guiding you through everywhere in the game, reveals himself to be the long-thought-dead Frank Fontaine, who was actually Ryan's competitor as far as business practices go. He was sort of like this gangster con man who wormed his way into Rapture so that he could set up all these various deals and schemes. So I skip his little speech where he tells you that Alice is really Fontaine. Then once Fontaine finishes his speech, I'm able to get out of this room, and then security bots come after you, but you just basically have to follow these little sisters into this vent, and that takes you to the next level. So I'm just waiting for the speech to end right now. So, yeah, this part's pretty much just all story and not really a whole lot of fighting or any real strategy involved. You just kind of have to stand around and let all the story events take place. Alright, so we're finally out of there. Then we have to follow the little sisters out of here before all the bots kill us. And then I will see you guys in level 7, Olympus Heights.